हर हीरा गुरबाण, भाई रे हर हीरा गुरबाण। सत संगत सतगुर पाइए, अहमद शब्द सलाए, हर हीरा गुरबाण, भाई रे हर हीरा गुरबाण, भाई रे हर हीरा गुरबाण। कीमत किने ना पाइए, रित मालक मोल अमोल। मन सच कटवटी लाइए, तुलिए पूरे तोल। कीमत किने न पाए, कीमत किने न पाए, रित मानक मोल अमोल। हर हीरा गुरबाण, भाई रे हर हीरा गुरबाण, भाई रे हर हीरा गुरबाण। सतगुर सत संगत पाइए, सत संगत सतगुर पाइए, अहनिस शब्द सलाए, हर हीरा गुरबाण, हर हीरा गुरबाण। ज्यों अग्न सच वखर धन रास ले, पाए गुर बरदास। ज्यों अग्न मरे जल माइए, त्यों तृष्णा दासन दास। जम जंदार न लगे, जम जंदार न गए, यूं भव जल तरे तरास। हर हीरा गुरबाण, भाई रे हर हीरा गुरबाण, भाई रे हर हीरा गुरबाण। गुरमुख कूड़ न भावे, सच रते सच भावे। साकत सच न भावई, कूड़ी कूड़े भावे। सच रते गुर मेलिए, सच रते गुर मेलिए। सच्चे साच समाए, हर हीरा गुरबाण, भाई रे हर हीरा गुरबाण। मन में मानक नाम, मन में मानक लाल नाम। रत्न पदारथ हीन, सच वखर धन नाम है। घट घट गैर गवे नानक गुरमुख पाए नानक गुरमुख पाए दया करे हर हेर पर हेरा गुरबाहे हाय रे हर हेरा गुरबाहे सत संगत सत गुर पाए अहनज शब्द सलाहे हर हेरा गुर हर हेरा गुर हर हेरा गुर In our last sitting, we were given a message, and the message ended with a promise, and the promise was Nanak Satgur Meet Kar Sach Pave Darge Jaye. That was the promise. If you learn to become the friend of the ultimate creator, and that is the key, the friend. Nanak Satgur Meet Kar. Meet means friend. Now, how to be a friend? There's a beautiful Arabian Nights story. There was a major festival and there was so much crowd and there was so hustle and bustle going on. Somebody stepped on somebody's shoe, the foot. And as this person realized that I have stepped on somebody's foot, he turned around and said, "Friend, please forgive me, I'm sorry." And he said, "Don't worry about it, that's all right." They went by, everybody went to their own home. Middle of the night, sandstorm blowing all over the place, dark night, howling winds, and somebody knocks at the door. And the person inside looks around. Who could call me? Who wants to come into this tent at this time? He had 3 things in his hands and opened the tent. And without asking who it is and what it is, said, in this environment, if one needs something, it can be because of 3 reasons. One reason can be that you owe somebody so much money that he is not letting you sleep and it bothers you. Here's my lifelong savings, please take it. That's the one thing he had in his hand. Or it is possible that you have made a powerful enemy and the fear of that enemy is not allowing you to sleep. Me, along with my sword, is available to you, at your service, at your command. Or you are bothered by the physical energy so much and you have no outlet for it. My maid servant at your service. He had these 3 things: a pot of gold, a sword, and a lady with him. And the guy outside the tent says, "Thank you, I don't need any one of them. I just wanted to know if you know the meaning of the word friend, or you just use it casually everywhere. I just wanted to find out, do you know what a friend means. A friend. We always want him to be our friend. The question is, are we willing to be friends? And that's the key. Because he is a friend to everyone all the time, every moment of your existence. He's not enemy of anyone. It cannot be. That's the difference between what you hear here and where you say. Somewhere it is written that God is a very jealous God. That's not what Sikhism prescribes to. God is not a jealous. The word jealous at the same time to be spoken with the word God is oxymoron to a Sikh. Because God does not have those characteristics that belong to human. Jealousy, or the God of war, God sanctioning eye for eye, tooth for tooth. That isn't the God we're talking about. The God we are talking about, the one who's beyond all, is neither positive nor negative nor both. Nor. You cannot define it. It has none of the characteristics that we are familiar with. It's a pure energy. So how do you become friend with the pure energy? And that's the key. That was the message. The last hymn, the 20th hymn, ended with the statement, Nanak Satgur Meet Kar. Become the friend. Then what will happen? You say, well, Sach Pavai Dargah Jai. Then you qualify yourself to become one with the one. Then you can merge into the ultimate totality. Otherwise, because that's one characteristic, become a friend. There is a beautiful Sufi story about Sai Bulle Shah. I had shared that with some of you, those who were present that day. That Sai Bulle Shah had just started on the path and went to get the milk in the morning. So there is a whole queue of the people who are standing in line to get the milk. Fresh milk is being brought. Everybody presents the pot and the milkman is measuring it and putting in their pot and then charging them the money accordingly. Where Bulle Shah was standing, somebody came and stood behind him in the same queue. The milkman saw him and he said, don't stand in the line, just come front. So this guy broke the line and went up front. And rather than measuring the milk from the bucket, he just said, put your pot ahead. So he just extended the pot, so he put the whole bucket in it and filled it up. And when the guy said, how much money? I said, don't worry about it. Just go. Now when Bulle Shah's turn came, rather than buying the milk, he wanted to ask the question of the milkman. Tell me, this guy neither stood in line, nor got the milk according to the measurement, nor you charged him the money. Everybody else says, why this partiality? And the milkman says, come on, don't you know? Nobody does these things with a friend. He's my friend. Who cares how much money from the friend? Friend's pocket is my pocket is my friend's pocket. His children are my children are his children. Who cares? Between friends there is never any business like that. And the Bulle Shah immediately threw his bucket and said, oh my God. Here I am trying to be his friend and I count every day. Have I done 5 namaz? I am counting. How many months, how many weeks, how many times I have done my prayer. And he is saying that with a friend you never count anything. I haven't even understood the basic principle of being a friend. How the hell I'm going to become a devotee or a saint or a mystic? How is it possible? because I count for everything. And counting is done between partners, business transactions. That has nothing to do with the relationship of love and the friendship. And Gurbani says, if you want to get to that stage, learn to be a friend. Understand how to be a friend to that ultimate creative energy. Okay. Now it becomes a difficult riddle for mere mortals, and they say, well, how do I become a friend now? You know, if somebody was there, I'll go talk to him and I'll try to serve him and I'll try to do something. But you are saying, the master is saying, become a friend with the ultimate energy which has no physical form. You don't know how to please him, because pleasing being a human characteristic or anger being human. Now, I have no clue what to do with this. Next hymn answers that question. See that link? It gives the message but doesn't leave you hanging. So the 21st hymn starts with saying, Har Har Japo Piareya. How do you become friend with who which does not have a name, shape, body, unborn, unpracticed? How do you do that? Just sit in the memory. Har Har Japo. Chant his name. Well, he has no name. Now what do I chant? Whatever reminds you of him. Har Har. Om, Sohang, Allah, Ameen. So how does it matter? Ram, Gobind, Satana, Vaheguru, how does it matter? The point is, does it remind you of him? If that happens, get on with it. Har Har Japo Piareya, Gurmat Le Har Bol. And if you do not have an idea what is that Har Har, what you need to do the chanting, then go to someone who has already been there and get the word from them. Who's that one? Gurumat. Get from the master. Guru di mat lela. And with that intellect, that suggestion, bol, get that word, and he will tell you. If you can't find out your own, then go to Guru and get that intellect from the Guru. Gurumat, le har bol, but there is a requirement which nobody talks about. बोल तो सारे शुरू कर देंगे. Everybody will start saying Om Om, Vaheguru, Ram Ram Ram. Everybody will start it. But that's not enough. There is a fundamental requirement, which is Man Sach Kasvati Laiya. Now this is something we need to spend some time on. Kasvati. Those of you who buy ornaments, gold ornaments, you know how to find out if there is an impurity in the gold without melting it. Any idea? Anybody? Touchstone. You take the gold and scratch on it, and the shade of that line with the touchstone will tell you if there is a impurity, and that's called kasvati. Kasvati launa. Kasauti. Yeah, in Hindi is kasauti, Punjabi kasvati.
I thought kasauti means test.
Yeah, that's a test of the gold, of purity of the gold.
Stone is called kasauti.
Right. No, that's what they call it. Kasauti is the test.
Oh.
It is to test the purity of it. You are absolutely right. Kasvati is
Kasauti.
test. Yeah. Okay, just a different language. Kasauti, kaswati. And he says, what is that? He said, man. अब मन को कसवती पे लगाना है. And which is that touchstone for it? For your mind, your thought process, your collection of memories, you need to test it. To borrow the term from Acharya, you need to test it. On what kaswati? He said, such. You have to test it on the touchstone of the ultimate truth. Now that is a big challenge. Test it on the ultimate truth. What a challenge. So how would you now decide what's wrong and what's right? Isn't it? You want to test the mind. Should it do this? Should it do that? Well, if you come to Christian, he will say this. If you go to Muslim, he will say that. If you go to Hindu, he will say that. If you go to Buddhist, he will say that. If you go to Jain, he will say that. If you come to Sikh, he will say that. So where is the truth? How do you check it? How do you test it? And the answer comes back. You do not test it on the touchstone of the society, not the touchstone of the culture, not the touchstone of the time and space. You just think about what would that creator do about it, say about it, think about it. Because you are sensing it, you are comparing it against the ultimate truth. So what is the ultimate truth in the first thing? The Creator has no judgment. Nothing is good, nothing is bad in His world. Everything is just a choice. There is nothing in His world. If anything was bad, He will stop somebody and say, hey, what are you doing? If anything was bad, He would not make it. So what has He done? With every choice, He has put the consequences with it. So you just make a choice without judgment. When the mind is able to do that, make a choice without judgment. Make a choice without worrying about the end result, based on the available data as of now. That's why we say, so long as you are okay in your own heart. Is your motive to cheat somebody, deceive somebody, take undue advantage of somebody, hurt somebody? Is that what it is? If the answer is no, all I know is I should do this. What is the motive behind it? Well, the motive is, that's the only choice I see. That's all. When you drop the judgments about the choices, you are getting closer to the such, the truth. The most difficult problem for a human being to make a choice is, he always says, what if I did this and that happened? And you get into analysis paralysis phase right away. And the reality is that you will discover that the time you spend about worrying about a result usually never happens. Kabir says, apna chitveya so kare jo mere chit na hoye. He says, I am surprised, I do something with something in mind and he comes up with an option which I even didn't dream of. Kabir says, apna chitveya o kare jo mere chit na hoye. See, I don't even think about it. Was not even my mindscape. It was not on the radar screen for me. And that's what happened. Is, oh, wait a minute. That's not what I did the action for. And so when that is the reality, that you have no clue what the end result is going to be. Apne karam ki gat main kya janu. He surrenders completely. Kabir says, I surrender. Because I have no clue. I am drinking this water. I have no idea whether this water is going to give me the life or the death. I can choke on it. And I can flourish on it, any passive and anything in between. So why bother about that? They'll just drink the dead water and forget about it. Why? Because that's all I know. That's it. So Gurbani says, Man sach kaswati laye. You have to take your thinking process and put it on the touchstone of the truth. If that is not done, then whatever you're doing, again, has a motive, right? There's a motivation hidden. I want to go to heaven, that's why I am doing this. I want to get this reward, that's why I'm doing this. Then you are not becoming a friend. You already became a businessman. Right? Albeit a long-term investment, you may say, hey, I have 50 more years on this planet, so when I die, since I am praying for you, get me to heaven. You say, alright. You are not looking for next quarter profit, you are looking at 50 years old profit. Profit is a profit. Investment is an investment. We do this at Havan and take me over there. I will do Havan every year. So that's a long-term investment. Right? Just like when we go on a business trip, what do? We take some cash and then turn some into traveler check or a draft. Right? The draft cannot be cashed on any shop. You got to go to that particular branch, to a bank or somewhere where their brokers are. It so happens that our worship ends up becoming the draft. We'll cash it when we get there. The service that we do of the society, that's ends up being the cash that we are spending, right? I serve you, tomorrow you will serve me. I invite you to dinner, tomorrow you will invite me. Today is my langar, tomorrow will be yours. Right? That's the cash in the pocket that we spend on the way. Immediate return. But there's another investment we make that we try to cash up there. We make the draft. Let me do this yajna. Let me do this puja path. Let me do this kriya karam. Let me do these rituals. And these rituals I am doing because when I go there, I want this reward. So that ends up becoming your draft. Long-term investment, short-term investment. You haven't learned to put the mind to the test of the truth. Man sach kaswati laye. Make that difference. Understand the difference. That this journey is a pathless path. It has no goal. It has no destination. It is the labor of love. That's how you will become his friend. If you have learned to do the labor of love. If you haven't, you will not be the friend. If you don't become the friend, then you can't get any further. But if you become friend, and what happens? Man sach kaswati laye tulye pure tol. Mean when you test it, it better come exactly the way it should be. Pura tol. You know, tol means balance, measurement. You put something on this side, something on this side, and you try to balance the scale. Say, unless the scale is balanced, your mind on one side, truth on the other. If they are not balancing, 99% of the time, your side will be heavier. Why? Because you're trying to save something. That's why Gurbani says, Aparadhi duna nive jahanta mirgahe. He says, if bowing on the ground, with touching your head on the ground, was the real worship of any deity, Gurbani says, look at that hunter who is going to hunt the deer. Anybody who has the experience of hunting in the jungle, deer has a very powerful sense of sound. So what do? They take the gun and lie flat on their stomach on the ground. Completely. So that even the movement of the leaves, rustling of the leaf, may not scare the deer. Say, no, look at that. Now, is he not, can you be lower than that? Aparadhi duna nive. He said, what is in his mind? Aparadhi means the one who is going to commit sin. Say, look at that, what is in his mind? In his mind is Jahanta mirgahe. Hanta means to kill, hatya. Mirgahe, mirg means the deer. Say, look, he's going to kill a deer. In order to kill a deer, he has to lie flat on the ground. And you think by bowing your head you are worshipping? See, सिनेमा ये क्या थी है जय हृदय को सुधे जाए. What use is the head bowing when the heart is going somewhere else, mind is going somewhere else? It's useless. Going to any altar and putting your head down and not knowing what's going inside. So Gurbani emphasizes that man sach kasvati laye tulye pure tol. That balance be better, absolutely correct. Don't deceive yourself. Don't play the games. Self-deception is the most powerful intoxicant for every human being. A mirror never tells the truth. It always lies. That's why your favorite mirror on the wall, who's the prettiest of them all, and he always says you are, no matter who's standing in front. Self-deception. And that's why there's so much emphasis on it. You say, Kimat kine na paye rid manek mol amol. He says when that if the balance is there, here is the test. Here is what will happen. He says that mind-body system is absolutely invaluable. Because now that mind-body system is ready to walk on that path. It has fulfilled the first requirement. And you know, first step is always the most difficult one. And he says, Bhai re har hira gurmahe. Oh my friend, the master has gone over there and already discovered that. That's why it's being told to you. All you need to do is believe it. That the word that's being given is coming from that ultimate. That is Har Har Japo. That's why. That name is coming, that message is coming from the masters who have been there. And what they are saying to you, Sat Sangat Sadguru Paye Ahnes Shabd Salahe. Sat Sangat, the congregation whose only interest is to walk on the path. Only motivation to get together is to learn, grow, and be each other's support system. And when you get into that, what would happen there? You say ahanis means day and night. Ahanis. Ahad day, nis, night. Ahanis shabd salahe. That word will be repeated. That word would be chanted. That word would be discussed and made part of your existence, part of your life. And when you get on that, then what would happen? Now the process comes on. It says, Sach vakhar dhan ras la paye gur prakash. Then that becomes your true investment. Vakhar, Sach vakhar dhan ras, the investment to do business, right? We first need some money to start the business. He says this becomes your investment. You are now collecting that. Eventually this will help you in the dimension of the beyond, which is being given to you through the help of the master who has gone there. And if you accept that hypothesis, this would what will happen. Jiyo agan mare jal paye tyo trishna dasan das. Just as the fire disappears by just touching the water, same way all of the pull and push of the sensual life would disappear if you start moving on that path. The attraction of the senses, the sensual pleasures would start losing their grip on you as you start going deeper into that world, in the chanting, in the meditation, in the worship. Jam jandar na lag gayi eun pao jal tare taras. Then you have absolutely no fear of the bondage of the life and death. Jam is angel of death. Because the whole objective is that you are born, you are going to die once, and let's make sure that you don't have to be born again and face the death again. How do you do that? You become his friend. Then he won't be sending you back. And that's, you need to take the effort, make the effort now, so that you can get back to the source and you don't have to go into the cycle. Now, that belief system in itself becomes very difficult for the Western mind, because the Western mind says there's only one life. Right? You die, either you go to hell or you go to heaven. End of discussion. Eastern model does not accept that. So let's be very clear. If that is the model, that I just want to go to heaven, then this theosophy and this model would be very, very confusing to you. To some it will be actually a blasphemy. Oh, you mean you can become God? Wow. Islam has killed people who declared they have become God. They were crucified. Al-Halak Mansur. Mansur was skinned alive because he said, I see God inside me. So I am God. I see God in you, everywhere. There's nothing but God. As soon as he said that, he was skinned alive. And he was told, why are you? You know Quran doesn't accept that. You know Muhammad wouldn't accept that. Muhammad is the Paigambar, messenger, and Allah is only one. So stop saying that. He said, well, yeah, of course I can stop saying that. But that doesn't change the truth. Look at his answer. He says, I'll stop saying it. What should I do with the truth? Does that change it? Just because I shut up, the truth doesn't change. Allah is everywhere, in every human, because I see him in myself. And he was skinned alive.
Which year was that?
Mansur.
Which period was it? When?
Right after the Muhammad.
Oh.
It's about 12, 1300 years ago. So Sufi mistake. Because the Islamic way of meditation was taken away by the Sufi mystics. Sunnis and Shias, they just have the political process left with them. No spirituality. Spirituality is with Sufis. Just as Christianity, the church, the Pope is left with only the ritual. The real thing is with the Essenes. Go talk to them. They know what the Christ meant. There is a group called Essenes, where, as a secret society, Jesus was trained by the Essenes. What he talked about is nowhere in the Bible. Absolutely nowhere. What was he is totally unknown to the world. And the same thing has happened to all over the religions. Every religion has happened the same way. So Gurbani is emphasizing the spiritual aspect of it. It has nothing to do with the ritualistic aspect of it. And it basically says that you are in the cycle of life and death. When you do good karma, you get good quality life. When you do bad karma, you get bad quality life. But you are definitely dying and being born again and again and again. Now, if you had enough of it, there's a way to jump off the wheel of karma. And that's what's being described here. To anyone who says, hey, why are you bothering me? I'm okay. What do I do? Then you're all right. Then don't pay attention to this. If you are happy with it, the only caveat that I will submit to you is, if you are happy with all of your blessings that you are enjoying today the eyes are working, the lips are working, the ears are working, the legs, and tomorrow when they start giving up, be just as happy. Be just as grateful. Be just as thankful. Because that's a part of the life. The childhood, the youth, the old age, and that's it. So as you are happy playing, as you are happy enjoying the senses, just be as happy when the senses start disappearing. Be just as grateful. Gurbani says, Jam jandar na lag gayi, yun pao jal tare taras. You will be able to transcend the ocean of sensual life. Bhavjal. Bhavjal is a mythical river between this life and that life. That's how the Christianity describes it as a passing through the dark tunnel. Vedanta, Hinduism, Eastern culture calls it a bhavjal. All it means basically transcending from one dimension to the other. This dimension has a constraint on every existing thing. It doesn't matter bird or a human or a plant. It has a constraint of time and space. It can neither go through the time nor go through the space. When the body is dropped, you immediately transcend the space. Immediately. That's the first freedom. Going to the space. That's why those people who are a little bit has some extra sensory perceptions, they start seeing auras and they get scared. Oh my God, there's a ghost. They're just seeing an astral body floating around, that's all. Because astral body is free of the constraint of the space. Gravity doesn't pull it because it has no physical mass. So Gurbani says, you will transcend that provided you have put your mind to the test of the truth. And that automatically leads to the side conclusion that whatever we have learned so far from the colleges, the universities, the parents, the society, that is the untruth. Now understand the difference between fact and the truth. Gurbani is not talking of the facts. 2 plus 2 is a fact, not a truth. Why? Because that's a mutually agreed upon nomenclature. It's a symbol. When somebody was writing mathematical equation, they said when this looks like joined by this sign equals, we will call it this. That's how the equation was formed. 2 joined by plus, another 2 with the equal, call it 4. They could have called it a 5. They could have called it 20. They would have called it Mullah Nasruddin. It would not matter. It was just a symbol. So Gurbani is not talking of facts. He's talking about the truth. So what's the truth then? Truth stands on its own. It has no comparison. It doesn't need any reference. And that truth is what? There's only one such truth. Every other thing needs reference to something. There's only one truth which needs no comparison. Adi Sach, Jugadi Sach, Haivi Sach, Nanak Hosi Bhi Sach. The ultimate creative energy is the only thing which has no other comparison. Everything else is compared to something else. So we are putting mind-body system to that test. How would he perceive it? Oh, by the way, you can call it she too. Both are wrong.
Thank you.
You didn't hear the second part before you said the thank you.
I know.
Both are equally wrong. You can call it. That's also wrong. It's just the trap of the language, that's all. We are helpless, we have to call something. So pick one. Whatever suits you. There was a movie recently that was Bruce Almighty something? Bruce Almighty? Yeah. So they made the God a black man there. And there's that comedian girl, Ellen DeGeneres. So she has a skit conversation with God, and that's a 45 years old look like woman. Her God is a 45-year-old woman. She said, yeah, I met her, she had the shabli and all that. A beautiful middle-aged woman, like so and so. Of course the people laugh. And we can all laugh, but it's not a laughing matter. It needs to be acknowledged that these arguments are absolutely naive and childish. Those who talk about it or question about it or argue about it absolutely have no clue. They are only expressing their ignorance. You cannot put any word to that creative energy and describe it. Because as soon as you do, you have light. You're trying to bind something totally beyond any. Now here is a comparison. It says, if you are on that path, then here is a test. Gurmukh kood na pave. If you are on that path, that means you have heard the word from Guru's mouth, Gurmukh, and you are on that path, then kood na bhave. Untruth, the falsehood would not sit well with you. Illusory things would not sit well with you. You will see through the illusion. You will see that as a play of the ego. You will say that as a mind playing the games and the tricks. Last week I was in a valley and somebody came to me, a very educated man, who I was so and so in the highest level of the government and blah blah blah. And then he came to me and he said, I myself fed the milk to the stone. I had in my hand, they gave it to me, I went near the statue and it made a slurping sound and the milk disappeared from my hand. How am I not going to believe this? And I said, I'm not asking you to believe it or not. I'm just asking you one question. How many magic shows you have seen in this country? If a guy can have the television cameras and a live audience and the helicopters and the aeroplanes flying around in New York Harbor and make the Statue of Liberty disappear and tell you, find it, catch me. The people are watching. And then he makes the same Statue of Liberty appear exactly the same place. If the same guy can come into a theater, take his girlfriend and start flying on the stage, and the people say, ah ha ha ha, you have wires which we cannot see. You say, alright. He picks up the same girl and comes out on the outside the stadium, where the people are walking on the road. And he says, do you think I have wires here also? And now they can't explain. How is this guy defying the law of gravity? The fact that the mind cannot explain something does not automatically mean that it is happening. You can only say, I could not explain it. But the statues don't drink milk. And then he said, well, they declared this statue will drink milk here for 2 days, and the same statue on the third day stopped drinking. I said, oh, wait a minute, why? He had a diarrhea or something? And who's that one who knew that is only going to do that for 2 days? What kind of power did he have over the statue? If you are on the path, Gurbani says, Gurmukh Kood na bhavai. Now he was completely convinced, and I just said, please, stay with your belief system. I am not asking you to change anything. I am not suggesting you what you saw was a lie or a deception. Whatever your belief system is okay. Are you comfortable? Yeah, I said, that's fine. Then that's your path right now. That's your destiny right now. There is nothing anybody can do or should do for that matter. Why would I interfere with your destiny? I can tell you that no matter how many times you yell and scream and beat the head out of me, and you can hit me by 2 by 4, I'm not going to accept that. That's the end. That's my destiny. That's my belief. I'm not going to believe, and I'm not going to accept that the stones drink milk. That's it. I don't believe in the miracles. I don't like the miracles. Why? Because now you are second guessing the Creator. And I don't believe in second guessing the Creator. I believe in surrendering to the Creator. Thy will be done. That's it. Single statement. Thy will be done. Nothing else. And from the time immemorial, He has shown us stones don't drink milk. And that's the test. Gurbani gives you the test. He says, Gurmukh Kood na bhavai. You would not accept these type of falsehoods if you are on the path. Why? Because Sach Rate Sach Bhai. Because you are on the path of the truth, you will only hear the truth, say the truth, accept the truth, nothing but the truth. Everything else is okay, fine. Are you okay with it? I'm not going to argue with it. I'm not going to fight with it. I'm not going to discuss it. I'm not going to try to prove to you. I have nothing to gain by it. On the other hand, if you want to listen and try to understand and try to gain something, you may have something to gain by it. I don't. So I'm going to withdraw back. But on the other hand, those who are not, look what a beautiful comparison the Gurbani gives right away. Says Sakat Sachna Bhavai. Sakat means the one who is trapped by the illusionary world, who is away from the Creator. The one who says, well, is there a God? Prove it to me. And my normal response is, I don't know. Can you prove me he's not? Don't worry about whether I can prove it he's there or not. You just prove to me that he's not. And I'm okay with that. And there was a guy in the congregation. Afterwards he came to me and says, Bhai Sahab, now after all, the whole of the world accept the Darwinian theory. Now what's wrong with you? You are a science student, you are an engineer. You have read the Darwinian theory, so what's your problem? And I said, sir, this country right now is divided right down the middle because they want to decide whether to teach creationism or evolutionism. Now don't you think those who are talking of teaching creationism that they have not read Darwinian theory? Right now in this country they have not been able to decide what should we teach in the schools. Darwinian theory of evolution or Bible the theory of creation. So he said, well, can't both be true? I said, how would you go about proving that? Well, he created something, then it got refined afterwards. It evolved. I said, I am okay to accept that model so long as you can tell me that over the last 5,000 years somebody documented that a monkey became a man. Right? If it is evolving, then somewhere a fish should jump out of the pond and start walking on the land. And somebody should document it. And he said, wait a minute, now you're being ridiculous. It takes millions of years for evolution. And I said, now, isn't the scientist taking this on faith? Because if evolution takes place over millions of years, that means nobody in their lifetime would ever be able to document it. And if it cannot be documented, you have to take it on faith. Bingo! I have a faith too. If you are on faith, then I am on faith. Why is my faith any different than yours or so be inferior than yours? So, don't fall in that trap. But those who are, Gurbani says, Sakat Sachana Bhavi. So they are not going to be happy hearing the truth. They are not going to like it. They are going to fight it. They are going to argue about it. And what will they do? Kudi kude pai. Because they only enjoy the falsehood. That's more entertaining to them. Why is falsehood so entertaining? Ever thought about it? With a falsehood, your ego gets always confirmed. It always gets reinforced. Right? I am a PhD. You say, yes, I am too, but I am better than you. So you're going to say, go home saying, no, I am better than you. So my falsehood strengthens my ego, and your falsehood strengthens your ego. The reality is, neither one of us are any better than the other. A PhD means what? Who decided? Right? We used to say there is a very little difference between a philosopher and a foolosopher. Very little difference. Very little. You'll be surprised, when I used to study in the college, if somebody would say a philosopher, and we used to get angry, because you said, when you wanted to call somebody a jackass, you will call him a philosopher. Why? Look at a jackass standing in the road. He has his head up as if he's thinking something. You can hit as much as you want. He's not moving anywhere. So if anybody you wanted to call jackass, here comes a philosopher. Philosophy is nothing more than intellectual exercise to reinforce your ego to the nth degree. It's just verbal gymnastics. Sentence after sentence, words after words, books after books. And what do they do? Where do they take you? The test, if you have achieved anything on this planet after being born, the master will give you the test. Compare from your past to the present. Take any chunk of time and say, as compared to that past time, is my anger down? Is my greed down? Is my ego down? Is my desires under control? If any one of those things have gone up, guess what? You just went the opposite way. Because you want to get to the state to which that creative energy is, and creative energy has none of them, and we have all of them. So we got to start working to reduce them and control them and transcend them one at a time. And if anything we do actually reinforces those negative energies, then we have just done the opposite. If I go on in a meditation camp and spend 10 days and stay silent there, as somebody was suggesting, and then I come back and say, guess what? I didn't say a word on the last 10 days. Well, thank you very much. You actually went earned some negative karma rather than the positive. Why? Because that being silent did not make you any more humble. Actually, it made you more egoistic, because now you're looking at everybody, well, they can't stay silent for even 5 minutes. And I spent there 10 days, and I didn't even say a word. And my teacher was so pleased with me, he actually singled me out. you are the best meditator. And I better tell every friend of mine how to go to that camp and spend 10 days just being silent and meditating.
Wouldn't you look at it as a community service, giving that great information and to motivate others to go?
Well, how are you doing the service? I just said, if this has reinforced your ego, the service does not mean to come and be condescending to everybody else. Is it?
Passing on information.
Passing on information. Isn't there a way to pass on information?
No, but it's not that we are being egoistic. It is just that if you're sharing that I had this experience.
And the question is, how do we share it?
You know, it doesn't mean that I am looking for the reward or I am becoming more egoistic. It is just
My point exactly.
that I enjoy
If it means to you that you are sharing the information,
right.
okay,
So how we look at it.
it's not how you look at it.
That's how you
With
say
what
It
is
is
the
how you
motivation?
present it. What is your motivation?
Okay.
Got you.
What is your motive? How much of gratification you are seeking out of that? That's sharing the information.
It depends on if you are seeking justification, that means you have gone in the wrong direction. If you are not, then it's something you got of it.
And I submit to you that as an argument it's very beautiful, but implementing it is not that easy. How to be in a total egolessness state while you are passing the information on, including the person who is sitting right here and saying it. It's very difficult.
When you say I means lesson, I did it. You didn't I did. That's what it is. Yes, no, it is. Yes, you are. You say, when you said I one time,
Then
that
how
means
would you communicate? Because that is our language.
you can say,
No, I'm not talking about the language part of it. It has nothing to do with the language part of it. It is how it is packaged
Definitely.
and how it is communicated.
Right. So what we should do is we should not bring the ego. We try to keep our ego.
Okay.
Right.
And the problem with that model is that when you're trying to share, normally you overvalue your experience and you undervalue somebody else's understanding. It is such a vicious circle. A meditator will immediately catch if he is alert, if he is aware, if he is not fallen asleep, if he is not falling trap to the same thing. Remember, ego, how mein dheerag roga hai. The most subtle disease ever invented anywhere by the Creator is this one. And it's only given to the human body form. As I have said, a cow would never tell you, my milk is so sweet.
Question. Last time you had mentioned that I forgot. Somebody was talking about it. Now she had just come. Suppose she went for 10 days meditation and she felt very good. Now she would like us to know about it. She is not supposed to say, I went here and this happened and like that. Which language should she use so that doesn't represent to a meditator?
I don't know what she will do, I'll tell you what I will do.
Okay.
Are you interested in learning and growing and experiencing something in a good environment? Are you? If the response is yes, I suggest that go to that camp. Well, what will happen there? Why don't you discover it? Because your experience will be different than mine. So I don't want to bias you. I don't want to color you with my experiences. Here is a good group. This is what they expect. Go, see for yourself. End of discussion.
But if you felt very good and we are all your friends, why wouldn't you say that it really helped you a lot and
What?
it makes you feel very
But
good?
that's the whole point. I am now overvaluing mine because there are people who go there and within 5 minutes they are ready to tear their hair and clothes apart. And there are people who stay there whole 10 days and they don't want to come back. Why would I overvalue? Why would I impose my own? And by the way, who feels good? What is the capability within everybody that feels good or bad? Who's that identifier?
I think the bottom line is if this person has really lost dignity, they will know how to behave, what to say. It will be natural.
Yeah.
There's nothing nobody can tell you what to say, what not to say.
No, but if you're looking for the model, I'm saying that understand feeling of good or bad is a function of the ego. An egoless state has no feelings, plus or minus. Because egolessness belongs to the Creator. So long as we have any feeling, positive or negative, that is a sure sign of that we are working on our ego. Now, we can then overvalue the positive or overvalue. Some of us like to do the overvaluation of negative very much. And if you want to see the example of it, go visit any hospital. Anybody who goes to visit a hospital and somebody is lying sick, you know what? I had this, but mine was bigger. You just had a headache, I had a cancer, and I just had my heart operation done. And you just had one valve removed, I had all four of them removed. We want to overvalue because that's how it feels good. It is such a sickness that it feels good in sickness also. My sickness is better than yours.
More serious, more challenging.
More serious. I overcome a bigger obstacle.
And I handle so well.
Now if you ask them why you're saying it, oh, I'm trying to make him feel good because his is smaller. Oh, is it making him feel better or worse? Now I feel so small, oh my God, I'm lying in the hospital and I'm not that sick even. Who behave this way? Gurbani says, Sakat sachna bhavai kude kudi bhai. The one who is trapped in the world of sensuality enjoys the untruth so much that you tell the truth, they will be repulsed. And you will get chastised. You will be run out of that society. That crowd will say, no, just be quiet. Stay over there. You don't know anything. I remember one of my friend's wife came first time from New York, and I have known this friend for more than 40 years. And she just sat over one evening with me, and then he went to my friend and said, it's so nice to talk to your friend, and he's so enjoyable. By God, he is living in a totally different world. None of his ideas are practical.
She was right.
None of his ideas are practical. So he next morning told me, what you did to your bhabhi? I said, what? You just turned her away. I said, why? She said that you are a very impractical man. I said, of course. I was warned 30 years ago by my guru who said, Bhagta te sansariyan jod kade na aaya. A meditator and the one who lives in this world will never get along. Why? One's journey is outbound, the other journey is inbound. The directions are opposite. One wants to feed the senses so much. Why do you think Rajneesh became so notorious so fast? He was not saying anything untrue. In one of his lectures, he just said that. Somebody asked him, what should I do? This energy is so strong. He said, then get rid of it. Go, do it whatever you want to do. And my God, did the Indian newspapers take it? Rajneesh is saying, live up your sensual desires to the maximum extent. Because he was saying, you may think you have transcended a sensual energy, be it a touch, be it a taste, be it a hearing, be it listening, it doesn't matter which one, but all you might be doing is just suppressing it. You may not know the difference between suppression and transcendence. Suppression is not a transcendence. Let's take for example, speak the truth. All right, I will always tell the truth. The question is, am I telling the truth because there is nothing else except the truth, or have I learned to suppress the untruth? But when needed, I can bring it up. I can still say it. Gurbani says, मिठ बोलड़ा जी ओ सज्जन स्वामी मोरा हम सम्मल थकी जी ओ कदे न बोले कौड़ा कौड़ा बोल न जाने पूरन भगवान अवगन को न चितार. Here is the test. You see, that creative energy is always sweet. O kade na bole kaura. Never ever. Say, but is it that energy sweet? Because the bitterness has just been put at the bottom and he can use it when he needs it? He said, absolutely not. Why? He said, there's nothing but sweetness. Kaura bol na jane. That negative just does not exist. The positive is not existing with respect to the negative. Positive is there because there is nothing else there. When there is nothing else there, that's what we call transcendence of the negative. When we suppress something, to the outside world it appears so. He is a brahmacharya. And then suddenly he says, well, I was doing a meditation and Indra got so worried, he sent his apsaras and my bhakti is all gone. Oh, is that right? What has Indra to do with you? He's already there where he wants to be. Why would he want to shake you up? It doesn't even occur to him that it was his own suppression of the sexual energy which just came back to haunt him. And he has to blame somebody, so he blames Indra. Understand the differences. They are very subtle. People can learn to talk very sweetly. People can learn to behave very nicely. But those are learned behavior. The question is, are they nice because they don't know how else to be? That no matter what circumstances they are, they would not know how else to be. You go to the fire, all it knows how to give the heat. It's not giving the heat because you came there. It's not going to become cold because somebody else went there. Heat just does not know anything else. That's called transcendence of everything else. So Gurbani says, those who are not on the path, you try to share this or bring them in that kind of environment, guess what will happen? They are going to call you an absolute liar, an impractical man, and telling all kinds of fancy thought through things. Hey, wait a minute, it's not my words, I'm not saying it. These are the master's words who have gone before us. They are the one who have experienced it and they are the one who are showing it. So, सच रते गुर मेलिए सच्चे सच समाए मन में मानक लाल नाम रतन पदार्थ हीर. What will happen? He says, if you get on that path, then that mind which has been now tested on the touchstone of the truth, it will then become like a diamond. Now I have shared this parable with you before. Everywhere when there is a truth, it is not compared with the light, not with a bulb, not with a candle, but with a diamond. And there is a deep reason for it. Because every other source of light has a shadow. इसलिए कहते हैं चिराग के तले अंधेरा होता है. The lamp can give the light to others, but underneath it is all darkness. When you take the diamond and put it on the table, you will find that there is no shadow. It reflects the light from all 360 degrees. There is no shadow, dark shadow. That's why the truth is always compared with the diamond, not with anything else. There is no other natural element in the world that has light reflecting from all angles. That's why the best diamond is that which can absolutely lose no light. Whatever comes out completely comes out exactly the same. मन में मानक लाल, it becomes a diamond. Why? Naam Ratan, because that Shabd, Naam, the word, has gone inside. Such Vakradhan Naam hai, Ghat Ghat Gahra Gambhir. Now, his investment is purely true. Such Vakra. That's the only thing he has collected is the truth. Nothing else. Nanak Gurmukh Paye, Daya Kare Har Heer. Understand that if you move on that path, then his grace automatically follows. His grace is not like something that you do today and tomorrow something will come. He said, that's not how that is. Have you ever seen that you turn on the light and as the light is coming slowly, the darkness is going away? Ever seen it? Right? The birth of the light is the same instant the death of the darkness. They are simultaneous. They are not sequential event. Is it not? Same is the case with the blessing of the Creator. As soon as your mind-body system empties itself of all of the negative that we have collected over the journey of life, the moment it's completely empty, automatically comes in. Simultaneously. You don't have to wait. So, Nanak Gurmukh Paye, Daya Kare Har Heer. His grace come right away. But that's not what majority of the people are into. Hence the next hymn. Gurmukh Agan Nivar Man Re Gurmukh Agan Nivar Gur Ka Kahya Man Vase How me Trishna Mar Gurmukh Agan Nivar Har me bhare na vich ve Je bhaved sandar des Andar mail na atre Trig jeevan trig ves Aur kete bhagat na hovai बिन सतगुर के उपदेश हमें अगन निवार मन रे गुरमुख अगन निवार मन मानक निर्मोल है राम नाम पतबा मिले सत संगत हर पाइए गुरमुख हर लिव लाय आप गया सुख पाया मिल सलले सगल समाय जिन हर हर नाम न चेत्यो सौ औगण आवे जाए जिस सतगुर पुरख ना भेटे हो सब भवजल पर बजाए ए मानक जियो निर्मोल है यूं कौड़ी बदले जाए जिन्ना सतगुर रास मिले से पूरे पुरख सुजान गुर मेल भाजल नानक ते मुख उजले धन उपजे शब्द निशान गुरमुख अगन निवार मन रे गुरमुख अगन गुरमुख अगन गुरमुख अगन देवा।
1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 151 152 153 154 155 156 1
Well, here is the problem. You say bharme bhai na vijwe. Bharam. माधवे क्या कहिए भरम कैसा जैसा जानिए होए ना तैसा. What's the definition of bharam? The definition of bharam is what you believe to be true is really not. What you don't believe to be true, it really is. Anything what you think is a bharam. And there is a beautiful example the mystics give you, that if the child asks you, Mom, what's the time now? Bete 9:30. Mom, take a look. What's the time now? Would you say 9:30 again? The time was passed. Which one? Was it 9:30 when you said before, or is it 9:30 when you're saying now? Means what? We have created an illusion of the time as if we know the time. Time is a movement of continuity. Because mind cannot deal with a continuous process, it is subdivided into segments. It took a sun up to sundown and divided into 24, and then that took those 24 and divided into 60, took that and divided into 60 further, because now I can deal with it. So Gurbani says, well, the child is growing up. Well, is that a reality? Is the child growing up? Or is he getting older? Kabir says, the mother is celebrating the birthday and she is being very happy. Should she be happy? Or should she be sad because now the child has one less year to be with her? जननी जानत सुत बड़ा होता है इतना कना जानत छिन छिन औद घटत है. Every moment actually the life is getting reduced. You're not growing up, are you? It all depends where your focus is. A mystic, his focus will be on the other end. A Mayadhari is the one who is into this world, his focus would be on the start. That's the only difference. That's why when somebody asks Bulle Shah, how to find God? He says, oh, Bulleya Rabda ki pana, idro putana te idar lana. So what is there? To find God, what is there? If you keep on going outside, you'll find world. If you keep going inside, you'll find God. That's all. Just change the direction. Stop turning the torch outside, turn it inward. But we don't like inward, do we? There's all kind of darkness and scary things there. If not, I can tell you that the house that you made and decorated with the things that you like, there is a kind of punishment called house arrest. Isn't it? House arrest. That's considered punishment. Stay inside the house, don't go out. So what could be better than that? This is my home. I made it, I bought it, I decorated it. Everything is according to my taste. By not allowing me getting out of the house, I have just been punished. Okay, go sit there quietly. Well, what's so wrong with that? I, in my own company, shouldn't I enjoy it? I'm so good. Right? Everybody says I'm so good. Everybody else is bad. I don't like that company, that guy is bad, that girl is bad, everything is bad. Alright. Okay. Don't sit in that corner. Be in your own company. That's called solitary confinement. The harshest punishment to a human being is solitary confinement. Why is that? Why can't you be your own friend? Enjoy talking to yourself.
But then ego doesn't get fed.
Not only that. Not only that. That's absolutely right. The ego has no way to survive. But the problem is that as soon as I look inside, what I see inside I really don't like. Why do we say opposite attract? Just for that reason. Right? We fall in love with the person who is opposite. I'm so disorganized and he is so organized. I really love him. I don't like to cook and he doesn't like home cooked meal anyway. We go out every evening. My God, I love it. And then guess what? 6 months into that, I love it. I'm so tired of going out. I want to rest. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not going out. How can we eat? Oh, go cook something. I don't know how to cook it. Now the same quality becomes this quality. Why can't you learn to stay at home? The very quality that brought me closer now becomes a punishment. You change it. And nothing changes. Why? If you learn to become your own friend, what's required? It's not a test. I mean, you have to like not only yourself, you have to like the God within you. Because becoming your own friend means becoming friend with God. Because God is inside you. Nobody else. Everything that you do. Somebody gave a definition of a saint. I mean, I really love that. He said, a saint is the one, if anything and everything that he ever did or thought of doing, if it was published around the globe, he wouldn't have to feel embarrassed about anything. How about that? Anything that he or she did or thought of doing is published, and there should be no shame, guilt associated with it. Can we think of ourselves in those terms? Is there anything that somebody found about me that I will not be ashamed of? Is everything about my life so glorious, shining example? If you want to get closer to him, that's what is required. And the Gurbani says, Bharam Bhai. There is a Bha means the fire, Agni. This illusionary Bharam, Dubida, yeah, he is saying this, but how do we know it's the truth? That creates a doubt. Bharam, the doubt. The doubt comes from the back door about everything and anything. The worst kind of doubt, anybody who has gone to Tijuana to do shopping, they ask for 50, you offer them 5, they give it to you. And now you are walking back and say, oh my God, I should have said 1. It never leaves you. The doubt would come no matter what. And this doubt is the monkey that keeps you attached with the world of illusion. And that will keep you away from. That's why the belief, the trust. Hey, I don't know. I have not been there. But the word that's coming from has been there. And I have a trust and faith that this one would not misguide me. What has he to gain by this? Then the bharam goes away. Otherwise, if there is a question, well, all right, we'll meditate. You know what? I've been doing that for the last 5 years. Nothing really happened. So, well, are you sure that you told me that I... Well, doesn't it occur to you that it could be you the problem, not the word or the method? Why are you looking for the other side? Why don't you look inside? The bharam will come every time you look outside. And that is the problem. He says, Gurbani says, the problem is always doubting, always questioning. A simple curiosity to understand something is okay. But the constant analysis of paralysis would lead you absolutely nowhere. It becomes a rocking chair. You sit there and you're moving all day long and you've gone absolutely nowhere. But there's a lot of movement. Gurbani says, Bharam bhai na vijuve bhave disantarves. So when the doubt comes, what do you do then? Then you go from place to place to place, from saint to saint to saint, from religion to religion to religion, from master, 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 and keep on going. I still remember last 2 weeks ago in Santa Ana, somebody came to me and said, I asked this question more than 100 people. Last one was Maskeen. I asked him, and he even didn't answer. Maybe you can. I said, would you please write 102 and put my name there?
What was the question?
Why would I bother?
You're curious to know.
I said, it's irrelevant, whatever your question is. You have gone to 101 and I'm 102nd. Please put the number 102nd. Write my name down and save your question. You are not looking for the answer. You are just collecting a list of how many people you have beaten. And I accept the defeat at your hands before you even say anything. Huh? And such intellect will never be convinced. That's the beauty of it.
You never gave him a chance.
There is no need to give a chance. He has been given 101 chances.
He has already said that before asking.
101 chances have already been given. I was in San Jose, and this lady comes to me and says, Veerji, today you did this, Kirtan for 2.5 hours. First she built up my ego, So, in a heavenly space and all that. Please help me. What do you want? No, I do part every day in the morning and my mind wanders. Please help me to stop. And her mother-in-law walked by. And she said, what's going on? And she said, we're trying to get some Brahm Gyan. So I said, Mataji, your daughter-in-law is asking how to control the mind. You've gone crazy. Mind cannot be controlled. They're all liars. I said, hey, Joe, Brahm Gyan is right in your home. Talk to your mother-in-law. What are you asking me? She just told you. Your goal is totally unattainable. And they all started laughing, and I have asked everybody, and I've been doing this for so many years. I'm now 70 years old, and I said, Mataji, which is the practice that you've been doing for 70 years, which actually told you? Yeah, young people nowadays, they would like to cross-examine the old people. Don't you think 70 years of experience is enough to tell you what if it can be done? So I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask your age. I said, what was the process you followed which convinced you that the mind cannot be controlled? She hasn't done nothing.
You have to have one to control.
If this guy was looking for an answer, the first person who said, here is the answer, he would have first put that answer to the test and conclude whether what that person told is right or not. He just got the answer and rejected it. No, that's not it. And let's go to the second one. And that's exactly what he's been doing. Everybody he meets, he first tells them, I have asked 101, now 102, 110. He keeps on counting. I'm not getting my answer satisfying to me. The reality he will never get, because that's not what his objective is. If you want to know how to learn something, observe that 5-year-old boy. He says, Grandma, where is the rain coming from? And Grandma says, God is taking a shower. What do you think he's going to say? Ah, you are lying. Is that what your response is going to be? He's going, oh, is that right? Argument. He doesn't want to learn anything. Believe me, I used to do that to my professors. Every day in the college I will have one riddle that I will put somebody on the blackboard and say, answer this, and no matter what it is, I'm going to beat it. And I used to enjoy in my own self, professor. Professor of the subjects. We are teaching energy. I still remember it. So you have the equation E equal to mc square. He said, yes. I said, that means energy is mass multiplied by the square of the velocity of light. Said, yeah. Okay. Could you take, that means energy divided by the velocity of light equals to mass. Said, yeah. That means mass can be created. Take the energy divided by that and here is the mass. Can you do that? No. Mass can neither be created nor destroyed. So, wait a minute. Now, is your equation right or not? Whole of the class is now shut down because now everybody is going in circles. Because they know I'm asking ridiculous questions, because the unit of mass multiplied 186,000 squared, that unit is going to be so small that no instrument is going to measure it. Right? One atom can produce so much of energy. There is no way to measure it, weight it, or control it. But I'll stop them and say, now, you better answer this question. Is the equation right or not? A doubting, arguing, fighting mind will always find an argument. A learning, inquisitive mind will get the first answer and will say, thank you, be grateful, go back and try to internalize it, reach a boundary where that answer cannot take you beyond, then go to the next master and say, I took this, came up to here, I need to go beyond this one now. Because by that time there will be a new question, not that one. Make sense? Okay. Bhaye, bharme, bhaye na vijuve, bhave disam des. That mind travels from place to place to place to place. Because there is no need to answer, only create problems. And what does that do? Antar mal na utre. The dirt inside keeps on accumulating. The negative energy keeps on accumulating. And the life keeps on getting wasted. Now, I remind you again, Gurbani calls the waste of life if it has not achieved the transcendence. Why? Because you have to come back. Anybody who does not believe in that model of coming back, for them this is a waste of time. Hor kite bhakt na hovai bin Satguru ke upadesh. He says, if you want to get on the meditative path, then listen to the master. Listen to the one who have gone ahead of you. Take that word, internalize it, go up to that point. I was talking to someone and another person came back. He said, you know, my guru said that bhakti does not give you anything other than mystical powers. So then I don't want to do bhakti, I want to do something that transcends, take it to the ultimate Brahma Gyan. I say, have you gotten all the mystical powers? What is this? Desire to make the ultimate step from the very first step when you haven't even started? If you have achieved all of the states of meditation and gotten all of the energy and say, guess what? I can fly in the air and walk on the water, I don't need this. Then I can understand your argument. Those who are meditating, those who are chanting, you are stopping them and say, wait a minute, this is only going to give you mystical powers, don't do it. Use this argument. Take any word from any master, use it. Let your mind-body system evolve to some level with that. And when it runs into a block, then say, I need to look for another one. Not before that. Don't sit and just argue and analyze. That's again a mental gymnastics. And Gurbani says, Antar mal na utre. It does not help you to wash the inner darkness, inner dirt. It only wastes the life. Listen to the one who have gone ahead of you. Hor kite bhakt na hovai bin Satguru ke upadesh. Man re Gurmukh agan nivar. O mind, listen to the master and try to quiet the mind inside. Guru ka kahya man vase hame tishna mar. Transcend the ego if you are going to be on that path. Man manik nirmol hai Ram naam pat paaye. Mil sangat har paaye Gurmukh har le valaye. Aap gaya sukh paaya. Mil salale sal sanaye. Beautiful. Aap gaya. When the I dies, that ego dies, then it becomes as if water is merging into the water. Salale salal samaye. Jin har har naam na cheteo se avgane ave jaye. Those who are not into the meditation, those who are not into the chanting of any kind, those who are not into the japa, they are in the cycle of life and death. Avgan ave jai, they are coming and going, they are into that cycle. Jis Satgur Purkh na bheteo se bhaujal pache pachaye, those who have not come into the presence of those who have gone ahead of you, they will be always moving in a circle. And this whole life, which is such a gift, because this body form is the only one which has the capability to transcend. All other body forms, the way they were born, that's the way they will die. They have no capacity. Nobody has ever heard a cow becoming a master. But a Gautama did become a Buddha. A Mahavira did become a Jain. So Gurbani says, this body form is so invaluable. Don't waste it. Jinna Sadgur Ras Mile se Pure Prukh Sajan, Gurmil Bhaujal Langiye, Darge Pad Pravan, Nanak Te Mukhujale, Dhun Upje Shabd Nisan. It says, those who listen to the Master, take the word and follow on the path, they eventually get to what? Dhun Upje. They are capable of listening to the soundless sound, the Anhadanav, and they transcend the cycle of life and death. So, today, Gurbani said, here is a promise, you have this possibility. If you do this, you will get there. If you don't do this, this is what would be the end would be. So, it has given us the spectrum and a choice. Again, it is for us to decide as to which choice we want. With that, I want to thank you all for coming today. And if any word that I said offended you, that is the result of my ego and arrogance and ignorance, and I profusely apologize. If anything has touched you, that's a word from the beyond, from the other dimension. That's not my word. I hope you will take that as a seed into your heart so that it can help to transform your life. With that, again, thank you, and we open for any questions.